You have to get leads back on the phone with value-driven follow-up. So we're going to talk about a concept called value-driven follow-up. Now, value-driven follow-up is the greatest way to follow up. Like I said, I run a marketing agency, and in my business over the last few years, we've only done outbound sales to cold leads who have no idea who we are. And we've done so very successfully because we understand how to provide value in every communication that we have with a potential buyer. It's very simple. Rather than doing some annoying stuff that most salespeople do, which is, let me just give you an example. I made my initial pitch here where I established my initial communication with the people. The annoying thing to do would be, hey, just following up. Hey, you see my last message? You watched that video I sent? Hey, just wondering if you saw my last message. Do you have time to talk later today? Value-driven follow-up does the complete opposite. Value-driven follow-up is a very simple principle. We want to provide value every single time we're actually going to communicate with a person, especially when we're actually going to be following up. So let me give you some examples for what we use inside my marketing agency for how we follow up with people and do it in a valuable way. We'll go actually find a new article from Facebook. They have this entire platform called the Newsroom. Google has this, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Literally every single major platform has this concept called a newsroom. This is where they announce things like algorithm changes. This is where they announce changes to the ad platforms. We'll actually go in, grab articles that talk about advertising algorithm changes and updates, and we'll be like, hey, potential client, I didn't know if you saw this upcoming change for the Facebook advertising algorithm later this month. Here's a link. Let me know if you need some help walking through it. We do not have to say, hey, following up to see if I can get on a call with you about buying our offer. What we're going to do with value-driven follow-up, the intention is to communicate by communication and establish ourselves with a level of expertise. We call this low-pressure sales tactics by simply staying in the mental view of the person, just by simply showing up in the person's life. They know who we are. They know what we're there to talk about. They know what we have to sell. We don't need to directly tell them every single time as if they're a kindergartner who doesn't understand. We just need to be there. So they think of us at least once a week. That's the ideal scenario with a value-driven follow-up. Let me give you another example of that selfie video I taught you in the last one. If I pull up my phone, very simple value follow-up. I could say something like, hey, what's going on, lead? Saw you watched the video I sent over last week. We just came out with another one, and it goes through a bit of our educational process and how some of the students have recently graduated with us, and what their actual new jobs look like. I want to send it over to you here so that you can have an idea of how we actually treat our students. Let me know what you think. I'm going to send that off, and then I'm going to send a link to like maybe a testimonial page, or even going to send a link directly to the case study video. I might even send out a link with some client interviews that my business just recently did, going over the results that I just talked about in that video, what the students' experience with our company was. Maybe we get some new press written about the company, some form of article or major platform, or maybe just the business owner did a podcast somewhere. You could send them something like, hey, potential lead, business owner just did an amazing podcast with this guy. He talked about our educational process and how our students get amazing jobs after working with us. Just wanted to shoot it over to you. Make sure you skip to the 57-minute mark. That's where the money is. Boom. I'm going to link them to stuff. I'm just going to have some type of, once again, valuable communication with these people. Now you'll notice with value-driven follow-up, you want to have like a library of tools and assets for you to actually follow up in the sales process. We want to have an arsenal of articles, both from our company and from what we call industry articles. They just talk about the industry itself, and I want to make sure that I'm actually ready to send selfie videos on the fly when necessary. In addition to that, I also want to make sure that I have those sales aid videos that we talked a few videos back. Those become extremely valuable in the value-driven follow-up process. I want to make sure, once again, that rather than just doing annoying, selfish, centered follow-up that most salespeople actually do, I actually want to try and provide some type of value to that person every single time I communicate with them. That's the point of value-driven follow-up, and it's a huge way that we get leads back into communication cycle with the business. In addition to that, we can always use scarcity. We can say things like, hey, what's going on? Q4 is coming up, and our costs are going up about 10% in anticipation for what's going to happen throughout these next next 3 months. I just wanted to give you a courtesy and let you know that you should enroll with us sooner than later. That way you get a little bit of a discount. If you're not worried about the price, then you can just disregard. Most people will respond quite well to that message. So value-driven follow-up can also help get more people on the phone. We can use things like, hey, I'd love to get you on the phone with one of our past students. Let me know if you'd be interested. I'd love for you to establish contact with someone who's already gone through the process so you can see how great we are as an organization. Let me know if you're interested. The incentive would be, I want to make sure that the potential client I'm going to connect them with, someone who's already worked with us, I want to make sure that the person ends up actually closing, that the potential client who took the time out of their personal life gets paid a little bit of cash, just like a commission check, in order to actually talk to that person. These are all the ways to get leads back on the phone. They love results. They love value-driven follow-up. They love testimonials. They love case studies. They love learning more about your organization. They love seeing that other people love your organization. They love press, authority pieces, podcasts, content. They love it all. Just do it in an authentic way where you're actually trying to give the person some kind of valuable. Don't just do random crap. We'll see you in the next video.